crown hitting shells, bench mob stacking, power creep swells. Terra taking over, sparkling crystal gleams. Got my deck top tier like championship dreams. Cards in hand, I'm ready to shuffle. Colorless squad, flex a muscle. Glass trumpet blast, power through the ruffle. In the game of TCG, we ain't subtle. Outplaying opponents, no mess, no fuss. Dropping Tera Pokemon, watch them all combust. Crystal power fluid, unstoppable thrust. In the world of cards, it's trust or bust. Bench squads, deep strategy on lock. Every move tactical, ticking like a clock. Colorless rise, never out of stock. Glass trumpet blow, watch the competition rock. Stellar crown flex, I'm the king of the board. Opponents in check, can't mess with the horde. Terra and Crystal with these cards I hoard. Game of Thrones in this realm, I ain't ignored. Cards in hand, I'm ready to shuffle. Colorless squad, flex a muscle. Glass trumpet blast, power through the ruffle. In the game of TCG, we ain't subtle.
Sup YouTube, it's TCG here and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Today we're gonna count down the top 15 cards from the Stellar Crown set, and this is just a little disclaimer over here. This is my opinion. If your opinion is different, let me know in the comment section why you would include or disclude a couple of cards from this top 15. Stellar Crown will be a very influential set, bringing new hype to Tera Pokemon all around with the form of spec cards, also bringing a stadium card that allows you to have up to 8 bench Pokemon and a lot of colorless support. So that being said, we're going to be counting down the top 15 cards, and if you like what you see, feel free to leave a like. It helps out the channel tremendously and only requires 1 tiny second every time, and is the best way to support the channel. Without further ado, let's just dive into this top 15 with number 15 being Cinderace EX. I know what you're gonna say, it's a stage 2 Pokemon, isn't that way too slow in this format? Like, it's full of like big fast beat stick necks like Miraidon, Roaring Moon, etc. While this is very cool because Cinderace actually is able to slap 280 damage. That's actually a reasonable amount of damage because you can one-shot stuff like Regidrago VSTAR and Lugia VSTAR and all the basic V and EX Pokemon in the game. So if you go first attachment of the turn onto one of your little score bunnies, you're going to be able to the following turn candy into this guy. And the cool thing is you're probably playing an Arven engine. You're going to be able to make use of the Sparkling Crystal, an spec card we're going to be talking about later on in the video, that is going to have you need 1 less energy. That means you can actually get Flare Strike off with a DTE. That's only going to be slapping 260, I know, but if you just have 2 regular energies, that also can count for 280 damage output. You have 320 HP, weakness to water. Water is gonna be seeing a little bit of an increase in play because Palkia VSTAR will return into the format, so that's why I'm putting it here on the number 15 slot. Also with its second attack, you can snipe 180 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This is enough to knock out some bench sitters. Think about Squawkabilly EX, Lumineon V, you name it, and that's gonna be super cool indeed. Cinderace EX here. Generic Pokemon, 280 damage, and the damage output is there. I know you cannot use Flare Strike during your next turn, but you can get out of the active position because it comes back with free retreat. How cool is that? Just Cinderace here, number 15. Number 14 is going to be a 1 prize Raging Bolt. This Raging Bolt is actually super cool because it's going to give some sniping capabilities to the Raging Bolt deck that we all know and love. Raging Bolt EX did see some play over at the World Championships, played combined with like Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, and that deck always wants to like attack the active, but now with 1 prize Raging Bolt here, its Lightning Storm attack is where you be checking the card out. 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy attached to this Pokemon. So pretty much if you like have Sada and an attachment of the turn, you can actually slap 60 damage, and that could be enough to snipe something like a pesky Pidgey. Or maybe the opponent is playing Chimpao and you can snipe Frigibax before it's able to evolve. So there are definitely things you could do with this sniping capabilities. And even if you have like 3 energies on there, you can even snipe 90. So maybe you combine that with some E-switches left and right. But this is going to be helping out the Raging Bolt EX deck to have some sniping capabilities. Its second attack is something you probably will not use very often, but it does have Dragon Headbutt for 130 damage output. Number 13 is a tool card that I personally think will be underrated at first, but is gonna be leaving a dent in the format here with Gravity Stone. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot, the retreat cost of both active Pokemon is 1 colorless energy more. Why is this important? Well, there is going to be control archetypes out there. Sometimes they're playing Snorlax block as the way you cannot get out of the active position. Sometimes they're playing Mao with the tempting trap. But this is also very cool because that is going to give most Pokemon out there an additional retreat cost. Meaning that, oh, I'm going to trap a Lumineon V with a retreat cost of 1. Well, it's going to be turning into a retreat cost of 2. Which is very huge for decks like the Great Tusk Mill deck. Also, Pidgeot control decks might be taking a quick look at this because you can fetch it quite easily with the supporter card Arven. So Gravity Stone, very nice indeed. Number 12 is going to be Crispin, and Crispin is actually super cool because it searches your deck for 2 basic energy cards of different types, reveal them to your opponent and put one of them in the hand, and the other one you can attach to one of your Pokemon. So have energy acceleration while getting another energy from the deck. This is very good in stuff like Raging Bolt EX decks, but I could also see this working out in something like a Dragapult EX deck. You can get something like accelerate the fire energy, then get the psychic energy to hand, then use Zato to accelerate the energy. So there is a world where you can use Crispin and some wacky combinations of decks because now you have universal energy acceleration from the deck, and that's always something nice to have indeed. The following card is going to be number 11, Hydrapple EX. Hydrapple EX is a Pokemon that's going to be combining pretty well with Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. With Hydrapple EX, you have a monstrous 330 HP. You are a stage 2, so you have to be taking quick notes here, but you do have the bug catching set to help out to find grass energies and grass Pokemon. So that could be helping out this deck quite tremendously. You have the Rip Charge ability. Once during your turn, you may attach 1 grass energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. So if you're able to get out multiple Hydrapple, you could be healing off a ton of damage. Not only that, you can have more energy acceleration. Teal Mask will accelerate energies, Hydrapple will accelerate energies, and out of nowhere in the mid to late game, you can slap ridiculous amounts of damage. You're slapping 30 damage plus 30 more for every grass energy attached to all of your Pokemon combined. So in the mid to late game, that could turn off. Let's say you have 10 energies in play, bam, 330 damage output. You also hit weakness against Roaring Moon, you hit weakness against Charizard EX. But however, you are a stage 2, but though keep that in mind that you do have the bug catching set in the format as well to help out the grass archetypes here. Number 11, Hydrapple EX. Let me know in the comments how you feel about it. It does come back with a ridiculous 3 retreat cost, so I don't know how good it will actually be. Also, most decks out there playing Radiant Zard, so you are a little bit weak to fire right there. Number 10 is Galvantula EX. Item lock users rejoice because you now get something way more powerful than Banette ever was. You can actually item lock the opponent while slapping a ridiculous 180 damage. You do have to discard all energies from the Pokemon, that's the second attack by the way, but during your opponent's next turn they cannot play any item cards, so no rare candy, no superior energy retrieval, all that stuff, all the items are blocked off. Very good indeed. You're also a lightning type, meaning you can hit weakness against Lugia VSTAR, you can hit weakness against Palkia VSTAR, which will have a resurgence in the Stellar Crown format, so not too bad of a Pokemon to have if you're trying to make a deck around it. Its first attack also slaps 110 damage, and if the opponent's Pokemon is an EX or a V Pokemon, you slap 220 instead, which is the perfect numbers for basic V or basic EX Pokemon to knock those out. I know some of them have 10 more HP than you would love to have because sometimes they have 230 HP and you cannot knock them out, but it's very great to knock out most of the Pokemon out there. And because you're a lightning type, you automatically also hit weakness against Lumineon as well as the Squawk ability. And you can also hit bench hitters like Rotom because it's also a V Pokemon. So for 2 energies, that's not bad. You can also use that Sparkling Crystal to make sure that the Galvantula is going to be able to attack a little bit earlier. I know you discard all energies, but perfectly timed item lock in combination with something like an Iono will be leaving the opponent in shambles. Let's see here. I'm also going to talk about Joltik a little bit real quick here because this is the MVP making the Galvantula deck actually work, and maybe even other lightning type decks for that matter. Search your deck for 2 basic grass energy and up to 2 basic lightning energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. You can instantly set up an Iron Hands if you want to, if you go second because of this Joltik. This Joltik is very powerful and has one of the best energy accelerations attacks I've seen throughout the years. For the colorless energy, you can just get 4 energies instantly from the deck to your Pokemon. Even though you're at 30 HP, little Joltik is going to be leaving it then. So that's an honorable mention here with Galvantula. Number 9 is going to be Bouffalant. Bouffalant comes back with some defensive power for your colorless Pokemon. If you have another Bouffalant in play, all your basic colorless Pokemon take 60 less damage from attacks done by your opponent's Pokemon. So 60 less damage is kind of crazy. That will turn, like, I will give you into perspective, a Blood Moon Ursaluna EX with 260 HP will out of nowhere get 320 HP because of the defensive power of the Bouffalant. So definitely a very strong ability to have, and you're going to be able to use this quite easily because there's going to be more cards fetching out some colorless Pokemon from the deck. So defensive power is definitely a great welcome addition. Its attack is pretty lackluster, it slaps 130, but sometimes you can actually use the attack if you're playing a deck that comes back with some DTE left and right. Next up is going to be the Great Tree. That is going to be number 8 here, Great Tree. And there's a lot of text on this A-Spec card. It's an A-Spec Stadium. We've seen an A-Spec Stadium before with the Neutralization Stadium over in Shrouded Fable, but now in Stellar Crown we get another one. This is a very cool one because once during each player's turn, that player may search your deck for a Stage 1 Pokemon that evolves from one of their basic Pokemon and put that onto that Pokemon to evolve it. If that Pokemon is now a Stage 1 Pokemon, you may also search your deck for a Stage 2 Pokemon that evolves from that Pokemon and evolve it. So it also comes here that you cannot use this effect on a basic Pokemon that was only in turn for this turn, and on a basic Pokemon that was put in play this turn. Yeah, it actually means that it needs to be in play for a turn in order for you to use Great Tree on it. But Great Tree will be really super nice. Out of nowhere, you can create those Stage 2 kind of decks where you just get all the Stage 1 and Stage 2s out of it because of Great Tree. Think about like a 1/1/1/9 of Dusknoir, for example. You can just slap down Duskull, and out of nowhere, when you use the Great Tree, the following turn you can get a Dusknoir out of nowhere. So no need to get candies, no need to get Ultra Ball. This can help out. The only problem with this card is that yeah, you have to slap it down at the time where you can use it. So you will most likely be able to at least use get the effect of the Great Tree at least once. But the opponent can then overlap, and then you only have one of these. But this will also see play. I saw this in Dialga VSTAR decks as well. So with a Dusknoir line thrown in there, so you always get the Metang. Every single turn you get a Metang pretty much. So super cool stadium card, and there's going to be a lot of deck builders rejoicing with a crazy stadium like this. Number 7 is going to be the Fan Rotom. On your first turn, you may use this ability. Search your deck for 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less. Reveal them and put them in your hand. Then shuffle your deck. You can not use this ability if you have used another Fan Call ability. So pretty much this will set yourself up. Back in the days, we had like some Hoopa EX situations going, which can fetch out the Shaman EXs from the deck. It's going to be very similar. You can use Fan Rotom to get yourself the Bouffalants. You can get yourself the Hoot Hoots, because we're going to be talking about Noctowl very shortly. But this is going to be a way you can set up your board. We already know that tandem unit of something like a Miraidon EX is very powerful to get your setup going in almost every game. This will be the same thing. Play some Rotoms in your deck here. And if you're playing a colorless deck, you're going to be rejoicing because you can fill up your bench quite easily with consistency, which is nice. And if there's a stadium card in play, you can also slap 70 for 1 energy, which can sometimes donk people. So be careful of the Fan Rotom. It is good. And we're going to be talking about Noctowl shortly. First of all, number 6 is going to be Briar. And this is a supporter card, searchable through the means of something like Lumineon. And it's going to be played at the exact correct time. You can play this card only if your opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining. Why is this powerful? Well, I'm going to stress you out here. Until the end of this turn, if your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from one of your Tera Pokemon's attack, you take an additional prize card. Every single time I've seen something written on a card, take 1 more prize card, whether it is going to be the Delta trait of an Articuno, whether it's ADP, whether it is going to be Iron Hands. Whenever there is stated, take an additional prize card. People always check it out and tends to see success. So with this card, and particularly if you're up against a Charizard deck and you're going to 2 prize cards, you could instantly lose. They can just counter catch a weak HP Pokemon and knock it out with Charizard while playing a Briar, and out of nowhere they take the 2 prize cards. So that's kind of tricky for sure. They can also make sure you're at 2 prize cards by blowing up a Dusclops or a Dusknoir to then activate counter catcher to then knock out a weak HP Pokemon to then take the 2 prize cards. So This is going to be a one-of in Charizard. It's going to be pretty scary. Other Tera Pokemon decks might also try it out because taking additional prize cards has always been great in the TCG. With that being said, there's 5 more cards we're talking about here. This is my undisputed top 5 list for Stellar Crown coming up right now. Number 5 is Noctowl. Noctowl is going to be the spiritual successor of Shady Dealings. If you've been playing back in the day, Shady Dealings was an Inteleon getting true trainer cards from the deck, while Noctowl will do the exact same thing. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, and if you have any Tera Pokemon in play, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards and reveal them in hand. This is consistency at best. They state trainer cards, not item, not support, or not stadium, trainer cards in general, so you can get out of your deck whatever you feel like, which is great. Like, you could also combine this with stuff like I would say Scoop Up Cyclone could be used to reuse some Noctowls. You could also use Professor Turo's Scenario to get them back in hand to then reuse them. So getting trainer cards from the deck will be very powerful indeed. And I know you need a Tera Pokemon, but there's a Terapagos in the set, which is universally very great, and we'll be seeing play with that. And other Tera type kind of decks out there. There's a lot of Tera Pokemon in the format. You just need to take a look at your big binder at home. Check out all the Tera Pokemon there are, because we're going to be seeing some way better deck building situations with Noctowl. And as mentioned, with the fan Rotom, you can get your Hoot Hoots out of the deck flying out of nowhere. So very nice for setup, and this is very great. I am a big fan of Noctowl. That is going to be helping out getting any cards you want from the deck, trainer cards that is. Number 4 is Terapagos EX. This is going to be one of the mascots and from the Stellar Crown set, and also going to be its own deck, and will be tagged in some other decks out there. It comes back with the attack Unified Beatdown. You can't use this attack during your first turn going second. So you cannot like DTE, fill up your bench, boom, KO. That's not going to be happening. But as soon as that that turn is over, after your first turn, then you can start using Unified Beatdown. That's pretty much what the text says. And we will have access to more bench Pokemon because of a new stadium card. I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. But Terapagos is going to be able to cap out at 240 damage output. For those of you that have been sleeping under a rock, that's the perfect number to knock out basic EX, basic V Pokemon, and that for a low amount of attack cost, which is great. And the Crown Opal attack also is pretty great against specific archetypes out there. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic non-colorless Pokemon, meaning you can wall off Miraidon, you can wall off Ancient Bach, you can wall off other basic focus decks, which is super nice indeed. So you have an answer against those kind of Pokemon decks. So that's super nice. Terapagos EX here sliding it on my number 4 spot. 3 more cards to go, ladies and gentlemen. Can you guess which cards will be the best from Stellar Crown? Number 3, Glass Trumpet. Make the trumpets blow, because this is a very crazy card. You can only play this card if you have a Tera Pokemon in play. So they're focusing on Tera Pokemon all around. Choose up to 2 of your bench colorless Pokemon and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to each of them. Now that is kind of crazy. You can have energy acceleration. You can choose your benched colorless Pokemon. So all the colorless Pokemon get a boost with the Glass Trumpet, with the Noctowl engine, with the Fan Rotom, with the Bouffalant. So colorless Pokemon have it great, and definitely the Terapagos deck will be using stuff like this. Also, Universal Energy Acceleration if you play some E-Switches, by the way. Just slap this down and play some E-Switches in your deck, and out of nowhere you have a way to power up Pokemon you thought were never able to get powered up otherwise. So Glass Trumpet, it's an item card. Energy Acceleration in an item card has always been ridiculous. Think about like Barrage Day, think about Max Elixir. All those cards will always see play because getting extra energies into play is very powerful. Number 2 is Sparkling Crystal. This is an A-Spec card, and I'm putting it pretty high up on the list because you can combine a lot of Terra-based Pokemon decks and just make sure they can use some very funky combos. Sparkling Crystal is going to be reducing the attack cost of your Tera Pokemon by 1 of any type of energies. That means that, as an example, Dragapult EX can attack for 1 energy. That's kind of nuts. Also, all these powerful EX cards we've seen here, like the Terapagos with its 3 energy requirement, or the Galvantula EX with its 3 energy requirement, can attack for 1 energy less, meaning they only need 2, which is very, very powerful. Also, Sparkling Crystal, you can look at all the Tera Pokemon and the entire format, and you might think, oh, can I combine the Sparkling Crystal? Why is Sparkling Crystal, like, for example, better than a Neo Upper Energy in something like a Dragapult EX deck? Because it is searchable. You can use the Arven, and Arven can fetch the Tool card, and that's why I think it's going to be be one of the more influential cards for deck building, definitely for Tera-based Pokemon decks. Now to my number 1 pick from Stellar Crown, it is going to be Area Zero Underdepth. This stadium card, man, brings me back some vibes of Skyfield back in the day, and I think people will be going crazy with this card. I've seen countless amounts of lists playing this. I've seen Raging Bolt playing this to have more bench hitters. I've seen Miraidon playing this to attack for bigger damage output with Raikou V. I've seen Palkia VSTAR getting itself released from the binders just because it is playable again because of this stadium card. It states, if you have a Tera Pokemon in play, that player can have up to 8 bench Pokemon. Yeah, you heard me right. You can have 3 more bench Pokemon than you thought was possible, meaning that Palkia VSTAR can now go for the crazy one-shots. At most, Palkia was able to slap 260 damage, but now with 3 additional bench slots, you can slap 320. That is kind of crazy. You might think, oh, I'm limited by Tera Pokemon. Well, there's so many Tera Pokemon in the format. Think about Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. Think about Wellspring Ogerpon EX, Terapagos if you want to include that into your list. Those are all like bench hitters you can slap down, and out of nowhere you can have 8 bench Pokemon. If the stadium gets removed, that player discards bench Pokemon until they have 5 Pokemon on the bench, and the player that owns the card discards first. And also, this stadium does not work anymore if you no longer have a Tera Pokemon in play. So typically against Palkia VSTAR, some people love to use Prime Catcher or Bossasaurus on the Tera Pokemon. So out of nowhere, a lot of Pokemon gets discarded in the process. That's definitely a great tactic, but anything that has to do with bench space is very nice, a welcome addition. I've seen also people playing Gardevoir testing this out, so you can have like Greninja, Tatsugiri, bunch of Ralls, and then some bench hitters. So, but you do need your Tera Pokemon, so that's always like a tricky part because it's also a liability. But that people will definitely be playing with a ton of these stadium cards to test out their deck building skills. Palkia VSTAR, out of nowhere, back at the top tables. Raikou V in a Miraidon deck. You can be playing the Terra Mewtwo EX, the Lightning one, which you can fetch with Miraidon. So you have a fuller, bigger bench space, meaning that you can slap Squag down, you can slap down maybe even the more Pekko, slap down some other Pokemon out of nowhere. With Tandem Unit and Area Zero Underdepth, your Raikou will be one-shotting most Pokemon as soon as the first turn going second. So I'm just saying, this is a great card, and that's my number 1 pick for Stellar Crown. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Helps out in ridiculous ways you have no idea. Only requires 1 tiny second every time. And subscribe for more Pokemon TCG content coming your way. I am doing daily content again, and I am recently got back from Hawaii from the World Championship. So there's going to be a lot of Stellar Crown content coming your way. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss out. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and also check out the sponsors that make the videos possible. We have DragonShield.com. You can use the coupon ZABLOS5 to get 5% off on everything from the Dragon Shield products categories, like from sleeves, binders, deck boxes, you name it. Link down below. There's PoketownStore.com for your TCG Live code card needs. You can get 5% off using the coupon ZABLOSTCG. And there's CardMarket.com for European players, where you're able to buy as well as sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, so you guys check it out as well. And if you use that referral name, you're helping out the channel. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG madness. Peace!